All right, dudes, we're back. Today we're getting this $200 moped running. So before we get started, let's look at what we're working with. The bike is a little dusty. There's no headlight. The engine's not even on the bike. The rear shocks are way too big. And the tank is kind of rusted out. But none of this stuff is going to stop us from getting this bike running again. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started and tackle these issues one by one. I put some evapor rust in the tank so that I could let that sit while I work on everything else, because it's going to take a while to get all this rust out of here. Now in a previous video, you can see how I cleaned up the frame. But as soon as I got that all shiny again, I decided it was time to put on these shocks that my buddy Jack hooked it up with, because the ones that came on this bike were way too tall. And it made a huge difference. I'm super happy with the new shocks. So it's time to go inside and take a look at this engine. Our old piston's pretty scored up, and so is the cylinder that came on the bike, but luckily Jack also hooked it up with this cylinder and piston. And the cylinder does have a chip out of one of the fins, but the inside looks great. No scoring or anything. I think the performance on this thing is going to be great, or great for a stock moped, that is. Just got to take off this old piston, and then the new piston and cylinder are ready to go on the bike. One thing I'm not a huge fan of on these Vespas, from the factory, they come with a little brass bushing in these cranks instead of a roller bearing. Not great for performance or longevity, so we'll see how long this thing lasts. To get everything prepped, I'm going to use a little bit of assembly lube to make sure that everything slides together nicely. Then I can just throw the piston on, slide on the cylinder, tighten up the head, and then just one last thing before we can throw it back on the bike, we're going to use this feeler gauge to set the point gap and put the flywheel and cover on. And now it's finally time to throw the engine back on this bike. It's only 3 bolts to mount this thing up, and then you're ready to put on your variator and your belt. I got a Malosi belt for this thing. And we're almost there, guys, I swear. We just got to put on the rear pulley, and we should be able to go outside and give this thing a test and see if it fires up. I got the gas in this little Gatorade bottle because the tank is still clearing out the rust. Okay, so it's starting to rain. I just need to get the ignition on the bike, and then we can test fire it. So just got to see if we can beat the rain here. Well, we didn't beat the rain, so we're going to try it inside. Let's get the bottle flowing, make sure we got gas. All right, here we go. Choke it again, see what happens. Might have some air leaks or something going on in here. The bike started up, so that's a great sign. I think I'm gonna save diagnosing this problem for another day. I'm pretty happy that we at least got it running. So I did spend another $80 on this thing, so in total, about 280 bucks. The moped's running.